Hola, I'm Jar. Did you miss me? Well, I wanted to do a quick intro for this video, for this podcast, because I wanted to give some apologies. Yeah, three of them actually. First one is my voice. I've been going through a cold right now and I'm getting out of it, but still, my nose is a little bit blocked, my voice is a little bit raspy, and yeah, I'm sorry for that. The second apology I wanted to give, is to Enrique himself. Enrique was so gracious all the times that he was the first guest of the Portuguese version and the first and only guest of the English version too. He was so nice every time, giving his time, his knowledge to us. And I've been sitting on this episode for ages now. We recorded this like 2 years ago. And to be honest, life got in the way and I just forgot that this was recorded and going through my old files. These days I was cleaning up my files and I found this episode and I was like, oh shit, I didn't post Henrique Barone episode part 2. Jesus. And then I decided to do it. And yeah, I'm sorry Enrique, it took too long and I'm thankful enough to call you a friend and for all your support over the years. And the third apologies I wanted to do is to all of the listeners and followers of FODAcast over the past 8 years, I think. Especially to my dear Brazilian friends that followed from since the beginning, from the first episode with Henrique Barone back in 2014, I think. So yeah, thank you very much, and I'm sorry, but yeah, we are closing this chapter, and yeah, it's not sad. It was super awesome to do this for all over these years, although it was not consistent at all, but all the chats I had with some of my greatest heroes of animation of all time, and yeah, it was a really fun ride, but all things comes to an end, and sadly, this is it. This is the last episode of FODAcast, and I hope you enjoyed. So, without further ado, I give you part 2 of Henrique Barone on FODAcast.
Hi, welcome back to Enrique Barone's episode of FODAcast. And yeah, we're talking before this recording that the first part was recorded in 2 years ago, which is a long time. It doesn't seem much, but it is. It's just because we were talking and we was uploaded 5 months ago, last year. I took a long time to upload it.
Yeah.
But yeah, been a long time since the last talk. So welcome back, Enrique.
Thank you for having me again. Yeah, it's been a long time, but happy to be here to show some.
Yeah, how things going?
How the files? Yeah.
2 years for you.
I don't know, like it was like 2 years of pandemic, so a lot has changed, but like a lot kind of like stay the same, I guess.
Yeah, kind of what changed was that we can now go out and do things.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. In terms of work, I think it's I've been doing like similar stuff that I've been doing like for the past 2 years, like.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about
in a way. I think I'm lucky because like traditional 2D animation doesn't change much, so my updating speed like is a lot slower than say like After Effects artists. There's always like a new thing coming out and all.
Yeah,
kind of like drawing like one frame after the other, like I've done since I started my career.
yeah. But career-wise, I was listening to the episode before we recorded. I think I listened to it like 2 days ago. Yeah, and yeah, it changed a lot. Like in terms of the type of projects you're taking now. Like we're gonna talk about this project, but we're talking about maybe working for some series and that kind of stuff, and that happened.
Yeah.
It's like this 2 years since you last spoke.
Yeah. My most recent work, it's for this kids show called Storybots.
Yeah.
And that was I mean, first of all, it was an amazing show. Like I watched it with my daughter.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah. And then I tweeted like, oh, I would love to work on that show, and the creator replied, and that's how I got in touch with the team and all. And it was an amazing opportunity, like the creative freedom that they gave, and like the artists working on it, and like Like
Yeah.
that's the type of project that I would call like a dream sort of project.
Okay.
So yeah, it was amazing. Yeah,
And she likes it, your daughter?
she does. Yeah,
Like
yeah, and
you
it's
show like
funny
Daddy
because
did that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of fun to show. Because I mean, sometimes I show her the process. Oh, today I draw that, and it's still like just wrapped, like a.
Oh, so
But
they'll give
I
her
mean, she doesn't
spoil.
understand the process. Like, oh yeah, now it's wrapped and now it's tie downs and all. But like, it's fun to see her like. She asks, "Oh, now you're gonna put the collar?" Yeah, I will put the collar now.
Okay.
I don't know.
Then when she saw the final product, she got like excited, or she
Yeah, she
already had
likes
all
it.
the
Yeah, yeah,
spoilers and didn't
yeah.
care
Of
anymore.
course. Yeah, no, she likes it. And
Yeah.
then like when it came on TV, it was kind of fun to like see on TV, right? Like, oh yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Makes sense. Yeah.
it was
So
awesome.
for people that don't know, like our podcast, FODAcast, is about showing and telling too. So the first part we talked a little bit about the careers of the Enrique career, life, and all that stuff that involves. But the second part is more based on showing behind the scenes of projects. So we're talking about these projects, and Enrique showed that's why you're seeing now Open Animating there, because Enrique was kind enough to bring us some behind the scenes of his projects, and we can see a little bit of this magic, how it happens. So yeah, Enrique, if you want, if you're ready, take it away.
Yeah. So what I prepared for you here today, I did so I split my work in two different approaches that I have that I use a lot. One is like a completely frame by frame approach, as in like I draw first the keyframes and then the tie downs and then the in betweens and then I color, very much like a traditional process.
Yeah.
So I have some examples on that regard. And then the other kind of work that I separated to show you is like the ones that are kind of like completely done in Flash with symbols and kind of like a.
Okay.
I mean, it would look like more like an After Effects animation or like a cutout, kind of like blocky.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And then, like, my idea is to show these two, and then at the end, like, show how they overlap, which is how I usually work. So I mean, the foundation is always like drawings, but then I use a bunch of like Adobe Animate shortcuts or tricks or kind of like rigging sort of like approach to characters.
Yeah.
Which I can show a little bit here.
Yeah, awesome.
And, yeah.
Excited.
Cool. So you can see my screen there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So first, I separated this project that I did some time ago. It's called Olympia.
The little jump, recognized right away.
Yeah, exactly. And it was an amazing project I did with like Raphael and Connor from Giant Ant. On the time that I was there, like we were doing this project together.
Yeah.
And what was that? Sorry.
Two beasts too, Raphael and Connor.
Oh, they're amazing. Yeah. And the idea was just like we got excited about the Olympics and the movements and all, and like we felt like doing something on the side. So we took the 5 colors of the Olympics, and each color would be a sport.
Yeah.
And we would go from there. So if you see the project now, it's like the movements are like all there and the characters is there. But I want to show you the very first approach that I had with the running cycle, and that's I love seeing that kind of stuff in projects that I like, because sometimes you see the final project and like all the comp is there and the camera is there and like all the little nuances are there.
Yeah.
And then you like when people post behind the scenes, I love it because you see like this. The start of any project is like as bad as this little run cycle here, like. And that's how like every frame by frame project starts.
Yeah, because I suffered from that when I was starting to learn cel animation. We kind of want to do like the final look, the final animation right away, right? But that's not how it works.
No, it's like it's a long process. It's kind of like I like to say it's kind of like sculpting.
Yeah.
The video is sculpting the final piece. Like the initial stages are very rough. And you can see.
Just a quick question
Oh,
on
go
this
ahead.
stage that you're showing right now. There was already style frames developed for that kind of style, or
I
it was more loose in that sense. And while you're working on that, Raphael was working on the.
You know what? I think on that stage here, it was sort of like storyboarding. Like I don't think there was any art direction at that moment. And
Okay.
I'll show you uh, another another file here. Uh, so again, that was the first like run test, right? Like
Hmm.
okay, maybe it will work, maybe it will not. And then from there, so I had this that's the
Okay. Yeah.
that's the thumbnail that I did on a piece of paper and later on imported here. And I kind of like, so you see the guy is like running and turning and then jumps through a ring. But like that's even more rough than the run cycle that I just showed you. That's kind of like literally like just thumbnailing, right?
Hmm.
So what I did here, like I kind of masked the thumbnails and kind of made a
Like a
pretty
Bordomatic kind
pretty
of
pretty
stuff.
bad animatic, exactly.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see the timing and kind of
Yeah.
get the idea. And then from there, I uh, I start putting the drawings on top. And you see I think at this point here, probably there was already like a style frame. Because you see the rough is already, like there's like proportions.
Yeah.
And like you can see that Raph had made some nice drawings with the character already. I don't know if maybe it was like exploratory on her side still. I mean it's been a while, so I don't remember like exactly like what comes first or what else. But definitely because of the character design, there was some design exploration going on that stage as well. But you see, like I don't know if you can see how this drawing here, this one,
Hmm.
relates to the one behind it, and it's like yeah, like see
Yeah.
this pose for instance kind of matches there. Let's see the jump here.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get to kind of get a good flow of the run, and then later on the throwing of the discus. And if you see here the timeline on the flash itself, you can see like it's not on choose yet. Like there's a bunch of like drawings that are taking like a big space on the timeline. And again, like super rough, super like bad drawings. Just getting like laying the foundation of what's to come, right?
Yeah.
And then let's see, that's version 1. I have here, let's open version 7 and see like how it evolved. So on that stage, yeah, you can see the drawings are a lot more there already.
Yeah.
Especially on this guy here.
Hmm. Ah, so good.
Yeah, I think for that one here, I had like so those are the very first drawings, kind of like the rough ones. And I remember like I had like video reference, but I was like I like using video reference, especially
Yeah, I
in the
was about
movement.
to ask you that because it's
Yeah,
such a complex movements and
yeah.
different movies because the different sports. So you use video references, but at some point, do you act as well? Kind of try to
Oh, I
figure it
do.
out?
Yeah.
Like
Like
at your.
I usually use video reference when the movement is like very specific. Let's say
Mhm.
like a dance or like a sport,
Yeah.
like throwing a discus on an Olympic way, right? Like there's a and that was the whole point of this piece on itself, like was to portray the movements in the game and kind of like
Yeah.
so I did use like video reference, but I remember like I was aware to not like put the video on the timeline and trace it. So
Hmm.
I was kind of like observing the pose on the side and trying to like, okay, there's a good line of action here, like trying to stop the video on the right moment. So say like I found a good straight here, so that's a good pose. that kind of stuff, right? And yeah, and then like like that pose is like just one straight line, and it's amazing because like those guys like they know what they're doing, and they actually kind of get you poses like very similar to those, like because you can push the pose when you're animating, but like when you see these videos, they are pushing the pose for the movement because it makes sense to throw it well, right?
Yeah.
So I remember it was amazing to study these movements really, like as an animator was a very good spot to be, like
Yeah, it must be such a good exercise as well, because it's just totally focused on the body, right? So you have to be exactly aware where things are, but also these super dynamic poses that
So for this pose, like you wouldn't see on a video reference, but then as an animator you can push the perspective and make the arm like really come into the screen.
This reminded me the first episode we recorded, the one that you showed the guy throwing the ball, the baseball one. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Kind of pose like
the very first one, like way back when.
Yeah.
Oh my, I remember
that. You do like that.
Yes.
Throwing the ball, super amazing.
Yeah. See, I'm telling you, I'm kind of like just doing the same thing over and over. And, like these kind of poses, like see, like pushing the perspective.
Yeah, that's how I meant. Like you push like perspective, like in the sense that it's sometimes doesn't seem natural in the human body, but it makes total sense on the animation. The frames looks
exactly good. That's what I like about like I don't know, like I try to not use video reference. Like I said, like I look and I get the idea of it, but like not tracing.
Yeah.
It tends to feel like, in my opinion, too much like rotoscoped.
Oh yeah.
And it's okay for initial stages, but then like I think you do have to know when to stop. But that's the process, and in frame by frame, you start like simple like that, and then you polish. Like you see, those are just the in-betweens. So let me. So if you see the green ones are the keys, and then the blue ones are the in-betweens. And you see the in-between, you put a bit of more design already. But yeah, like say like this drawing here, the blue one. Like I was kind of like just drawing the middle from this and this, right? And so on, like this one. I'm kind of like, like always kind of like keeping the line going on.
Yeah, so good.
You know that, right? Yeah. It's funny because I think like nowadays, like traditional animation is so much more there than say like when we talked about that baseball video that you're talking about. Like I feel that people understand these principles a lot more these days. Like definitely like cel animation is like way, like I think before it used to be like extra spice on some pieces here and there.
Oh yeah, of course.
But now it's like it's a big part of any pipeline, right?
And sometimes, not sometimes, but most of the time still the centerpiece of the
yeah, exactly that too. Yeah.
So everything revolves around it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially characters are kind of I don't know, it's not that common that we see, because I think when we spoke the first part, it was super common to see rigged characters in After Effects. Not these days. Nobody wants them anymore.
Rigged characters, yes. That is interesting.
And cel animation,
there's
characters, cel animation.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I mean, there's every type of job, of course. Like
yeah.
Still happens, but yeah, when it
but
comes
definitely
to characters, makes super sense.
Yeah, I definitely agree that like motion graphics, like sort of like blended a bunch of like TV series even. Like you see a lot more studios doing like kids shows openings and even like special episodes sort of thing, like dream sequences.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily like getting a whole like TV series pipeline, as in doing like 50 episodes of like 11 minutes or whatever. But the motion graphic studios, they are touching like more the TV series world these days, I think.
Oh yeah, including the Giant won award, right? Like an Emmy for the
Yeah,
Hero one?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is super good too.
exactly. Yeah. And even like on the storyboards work that I did, like I wasn't the only one from the like say the motion graphics world working on the show. Like I know Animate made a short,
Mm-hmm.
like other freelancer animators, they made spots too. Like the the people from storyboards and Netflix, they were like tapping into motion graphics people.
Yeah.
Because and I don't know if you ever watched the show, but it's like very much like different styles stitched together. So they always go to different, say like sort of lessons.
Yeah, I saw the ones you did, and in
Yeah,
even those ones there is some different styles in there.
exactly. Yeah. It's like the variety of styles is like is a big it's a centerpiece in the show, really. Like
Mhm.
so the bots, they live in a world, but then everything that they talk about, a different style comes to.
It's about multiverse.
Yeah, kind of, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even there, like you see like Spider-Man multiverse, like you see like how much 2D traditional animation influenced that, right? Like I think I don't know if you think like 5 years ago or like 10 years ago, like nobody was blending them
Yeah.
like that much, like Spider-Verse, or kind of like the game Cuphead, like you can see like
Oh,
yeah, look
I get anxious when I remember about that. Finish it,
yeah,
but it
but
cost
I
me a
love
lot
that.
of
Yeah,
tears.
I mean it's definitely more there. Like I think especially on the on the early stages, say like I do a bunch of jobs that sometimes like I have to do like the roughs like that, and then the cleanup. Like there's some people that can clean in After Effects. Say you could use like shape layers to do the
Yeah.
next things that I'm gonna show here. But like the drawing part itself, like it's definitely like a little trickier to do in After Effects.
Yeah, of course. I've been there actually. Once I did a job, which I animated the character itself, but
Uh-huh.
when cleaning up, as we had like to make some tweaks in color, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I had to
exactly.
clean up in After Effects because of shape layers, and it was easy to make tweaks and that kind
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's not
I'm not
necessarily
gonna
like
lie, it's not the my favorite process. I kind of
yeah,
hate it cleaning up in After Effects, but it makes sense for
for the
the
production, right?
yeah, for the production, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it might be a favorite uh, way of cleaning up for some people. You know, it's not my favorite
Yeah, no,
way to
yeah,
clean up
of
too, but
course, not for me.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, here's just the final running guy. Yeah, but what I wanted to show is like how it started, right? Like
Yeah.
and then the patient that needs to go through, and the work, right, that needs to go through until you get something like this. And the other thing that I was gonna show you, like so if you go here, like I do a bunch of that in animating Flash too, right? Like you see like so for the movement here to make sense,
You extrapolate it.
I would have to go like off screen.
Yeah.
And I mean, a bunch of times I just keep drawing off screen, and then I adjust the camera outside. So this here, like you see these frames,
Uh-huh.
it's just like this guy like shifted to the back here.
Okay, yeah.
And that's kind of the camera. So a lot of people ask me, oh, how do you do the camera in Flash? And I mean, Flash Animate now, it has like an inbuilt camera here.
Uh-huh.
But I pretty much take the character and kind of like I moved it. Like it's almost like the camera is always static and I am moving the things around.
You just take the draw and move.
Yeah, exactly. Which
Yeah.
is kind of how it was like say like on the Disney
Uh-huh.
old days sort of thing. But yeah, like I said, I separated that one here to show that like I go off stage like a lot of times, just because it makes more sense for the fluidity of the drawings. Say like
Yeah. I love when you put it on your skin and it's
yeah.
nice.
See like yeah, I had to just keep the jump there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I never used the camera in Flash actually in Animate.
Yeah.
I just used by accident because you click on the C instead of the V.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. That happens a lot. But yeah, that's the one kind of project I was like excited to show the.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you because this was a personal project, right? It was a side project between you and your giant friends.
Yeah.
And I mean, there wasn't a deadline because it is a personal project, but it had the Olympics, but it kind of have a deadline. So, but that's not the point. The point is, it is a personal project. We were talking the better done than perfect before.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
When you decide that it's done, like, okay, that's good enough. Like for me, that's perfect.
Yeah.
But we decide, no, I'm not gonna tweak anything. That's perfect now as a personal project, and let's move on.
Yeah, I think. I mean, for me personally, it's when I kind of make sure that like enough of the elements in the character are following arcs.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I have an example here. Yeah, like I was showing like that guy here, right? So I kind of keep making sure that like this feet here is following a good arc.
Okay.
Like throughout. So it's coming from here, right? Yeah. See? Yeah, and then going there. So like I kind of.
Sorry, I'm smiling a lot, but because
Oh no. So if I don't see like pops,
yeah,
that like for me is when I decide to stop. But that, I mean, that comes with time and practice. It's kind of like a musician that hears like a dissonant note.
okay.
But for whoever is starting to play an instrument, you probably sound all the same.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of like the more you do stuff, the more you fine tune your eyes and your ears and stuff, you know. Like, but I think the arc it's a good place to consider. But see, like even here, like I could kind of like do this feet a little more there, so I followed these a little bit more. Like this, see, like I mean, there's never like an ending point, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's one guy that I have like arcs. Like arcs on main elements. Like, yeah.
So good.
Yeah, so just to finish with this project here, we were talking about like different ways to clean up, like nowadays in productions you can do the RAF in Animate or Flash or like any other frame by frame software.
Yep.
And in this case here for Olympia, the cleanup was all done in Photoshop because the style was a little like kind of brushy.
Yeah.
So you see I just imported the lines here. And then from Flash, I also had like a shadow layer.
Okay.
And then having the two here, I could like see, this is just a color. That's the thing that could have been done in After Effects with shape layers, really.
Yeah, because the characters are solid colors, right? It's just one color and the shadow, basically.
Yeah. But yeah. For the shadow, we were looking to have this kind of like hand drawn feel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So it's something that you did every frame, or is kind of an effect?
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Oh, no, the one was like every frame. That's a very like frame by frame project. Like
Mm-hmm.
from beginning to end. Like that, say that could have been done in paper.
Okay.
Yeah. So like yeah, other than like those weeks that I showed you in Flash, where you can like take the drawings here and there, like have the onion skin with more drawings and all, like
Have you animated in paper since your project from the Vancouver and the VFS?
I did like at the very first year, like after I graduated from school.
Okay.
Like I actually have like a light desk at home and kind of like
Oh, you still have it? Okay, cool.
yeah, but not, I mean, haven't used it like professionally or like
Okay.
yeah. So that's one kind of project.
Yeah, super good.
With
For those, if anybody wants to see it, links in the description. But they are in Enrique's new website. It looks amazing, and the projects are there too. And there's a little behind the scenes as well. Like there are some gifts. It's super good.
Oh yeah, I always like to put some like behind the scenes, because I don't know, I feel kind of inspired to see like how rough things start, right? Like
Yeah, as we were saying at the beginning of this episode, like we see the final product and you don't know how sometimes how the thing
yeah,
are built and the care,
exactly.
the attention to detail, and sometimes even not the attention to detail. Like you see the very rough stages, you don't have to go like full style right at the beginning. You can
Not at all, not at all.
and build is a process, right?
Yeah. It's actually like I actually recommend for the very first stages, like I don't know, imagine your characters. You know the flour sack? There's an exercise you do when you like kind of like imagine like just a shape. Like the very first stages are like it's about the relation to the screen sort of thing. It's about the staging of the character, not the design. Like, and I know like for some people, especially for like illustration and design background, like it's hard to kind of like get past the idea that the first drawings, they don't need to be pretty. It's actually better if they're bad.
Yeah.
Because then that's where you build on, like so yeah, like and again, this other example here, that's a project I did like with Fernanda Ribeiro, who is also my wife. It's called like Supergirl.
So good.
And also like a side project, they got like preschool kids to. So first they made poem workshops on schools, and then they recorded these poems with the poets, the kids.
Yeah.
Reading their own poems, and then they got animators to animate it.
Such a nice idea.
I know, it's amazing, right? Like I love those projects. Like, but yeah, like if you see like check this drawing, that's like a, I don't know, it's like a stick figure, right? You don't have to go like more than that.
But you can still see the movement, the kind of the pose,
yeah, exactly. It's like
good.
I was saying, like it's about that square, that field here, right? It's not about the drawing. You can see where the drawing is going. Like you can see the staging.
Yeah.
It's I mean, for me, that stage here is closer to the storyboard than it is to the animation. And I sometimes on personal projects, like I kind of have a hard time to do like a storyboard. Like, okay, that's just a storyboard, because I usually start thinking
directly on Animate.
Exactly. So like I go like I was saying, like people with design and illustration background have a hard time going rough on the first days, and I have a hard time going even rougher on the storyboard. Like because I'm an animator, right? But this first drawings, they're not about how they look, just how they move on the screen. And again, like it's about the arc, it's about like where it's coming from, where it's going, like this, right? It's about this here.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah, if you get that, that's all that matters on that stage.
And even with simpler drawings, you can see the whole stage,
exactly.
arc.
Yeah.
It's better. It's easier to see it too.
exactly.
Make little adjustments instead of having the full character to adjust and yeah.
Yeah. And you see, like we were talking about the camera, like those are just clouds going down. Like there's not a real camera, or like even the parallax later on, like kind of like just fake. Like the clouds that are further,
Yeah.
they move slower. The ones that are closer to the camera move faster.
Yeah.
There's no like real camera here. So that's like one stage, and then see kind of like on this one, you can see the clouds are going better. But you can see like I wasn't happy with this the spinning thing here, right?
Okay, yeah.
So this, and so I tried another, like maybe I wanted to see more her face, her expression of like happiness. So I try like a different, I don't know, maybe she just comes too close to the camera.
And at this point, you don't have the full audio. Like you have the girl, the poem, of course.
Yeah.
But it's not locked, so you can move around based on the animation at this stage, or you had a locked timing for the audio.
On this project, yeah, I could like the audio wasn't locked at all. Like so, I could kind of like shift and like we did it a bunch actually. Like yeah, to kind of like match the intention of the narration, right? And then you see, like I kind of started putting the cape here, and yeah. And then the next one, you see there's more going on already. So the character is already there now. The cape is moving more, but you see that like this. Oh wait, let me. Yeah, you can see that like this here is still here, right?
Yeah.
That's what has been here since the very beginning.
The
arc, the movement, everything else changed. The design changed.
And this is one of my favorite parts of the project, because the how you guys chose to represent, like it is super open out in the sky, and then suddenly she comes to camera and it's super tiny on the frame. Even get squeezed by these lines, right? I love that so much.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you. And it's funny because like that, like if you see like this frame here, right? That's the one you mean?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you see like at the beginning it wasn't here actually. And that's because, like I was telling you, I wasn't happy that we weren't really seeing her expression. So I tried this first, and then like yeah, you see like the close-up's not here.
Yeah.
So on that version, she would just go up off screen and then come back from here off screen. And then I was still not happy that we weren't seeing the face, and then. So that's how okay, let's do a close-up here. And then a new shot came. That shot wasn't planned at the beginning. Yeah, and that's kind of the beauty of personal project, you know, like you can like things are not established like set in stone as in a commercial project, for instance, or at least like as in a commercial project as an animator, as a creative director in the storyboard, you probably have more freedom on that matter in like creating shots and kind of like. Yeah, and then like the kick just kind of like was more like a transition other than like a off-camera character like this.
Yeah, the kick is my favorite part of the
album. It's nice, right?
When she said, and the kick.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's awesome. I love that too. And another thing that I want to show in here in this one, and then I'm gonna go more into that later on. Like you see, like when I start like cleaning up or kind of doing the better drawings, I usually do the head as a symbol, and a symbol is just like a nested comp in Flash. So all the head I have like a control like in itself, and that's kind of like where traditional animation and Flash and computer started to blend a little bit.
Okay.
And that's like my process is very much like that. The initial foundation, it's very, very drawn. And then later on, there's a lot of like cheating with the head and sometimes with the hand. But if you see like this, for instance, let's go in here. And see she's looking around.
Yeah.
And then I can kind of like position the head as I want here. So let's say I just wanted to hear she would look up a little more like there.
Yeah.
So I have like that sort of freedom. So let's say from here to the next keyframe, like this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's say I want her to look, yeah, more to the sky. And then I can just like,
Yeah.
like move the head itself and then move it back. But I don't have to redraw the whole thing, you know, like it gives me a lot of freedom. Like especially the head movement and tiny movements like that. And then like you see I use the twins here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can like break them on twos, and that gives it a less like twinny,
So
less.
you make the tween, but you break it on twos because to make it on twos as the other parts of the animation, so it doesn't
Exactly,
get
yeah. So
right?
It doesn't feel like
Disconnected.
yeah, the frame rate is the same throughout, right?
Okay.
And also like if like say like later on this one that was painted in Photoshop too.
Mm-hmm.
So a twins, it means like there's drawings on every frame, right?
Yeah.
So it's also like more time friendly if there's like on twos. And depending on the project, you can go on threes or even fours, like
When you have these personal projects with the designer's friend, they help you in the cleanup too.
oh yeah. Sometimes they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, this one friend had cleaned a bunch of stuff too, like but the cleanup. I mean, when it goes back to cleanup, is like where illustrators can be say like picky again with like the actual drawings, and that's great. Like a lot of good illustrators, they are good cleanup artists too, because like it's about the details, right?
Yeah.
I mean the details in the drawings themselves, as the animation, the details on the movement, on the arcs, on the, like on an After Effects file, on the curves or whatever.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, because I can never pass. Cleanup is always the part of the job that I kind of want to give up.
Yeah. I mean, I do clean up, obviously, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite part of any project, to be honest. So usually when I have like a, say like when I have like too much work, that's usually the part that I ended up like reaching out to people for help on the cleanup stage. And then like I try to do a good draft, say like this one. So give someone like a good draft, a good guide, and it's and some people love doing that. And I do love it when there's like when you find the right music or the right podcast, it's very kind of like
exactly.
It can be a meditation, you know.
I remember doing the same thing. Okay, I'm just gonna go up
exactly.
an album or something like that, and
go through it. And it will be time consuming anyway. Let's just enjoy the process.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now that I think about it, it's not that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that I cleaned. Oh yeah, I remember I cleaned up one of your animations. I was so.
Oh yeah.
Giant
time.
Yeah, I was so. I was so anxious.
Was that like was that the scooter guy? I think it was, right?
No, I think he was. Yeah, that one too. But I think Delta, the job for Delta, the one that had.
Oh yeah. I remember that one.
When I got it, sweat was
lots of cleanup. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fuck it up.
No, you did not. And then like again, quick example on like traditional approach. Now back to what we were talking about, the and back to what we were talking about, like different projects like require different approaches. So for this one, it was like and I always I like what I can do with Flash, like the thing that I was showing the head. Like I love it. I love that. Like, okay, then I'll just wake it. When you get to that stage where say like I can be super picky with the frames and the spacing, I kind of like it, because then okay, that's when it starts to feel like very flowy and very smooth, and it's kind of like it's a good feeling, like to see your animation kind of okay, you get all the nuances and all. So I love that the software allows that, but I also love when there's projects where I can go like completely like crazy with the drawing. Like this one was one where like can you hear it?
I heard Supergirl, but this one I can't actually. No.
No? Yeah, I don't know.
No,
So
I
I
didn't hear Supergirl. It was in my head because
okay.
I saw many times. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this one like a similar approach. Like on this one, I had the design, the character design was a bit more established.
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, the first drawings, they're kind of like, see, they're very spaced. They're not like and then as the movie progresses, you can like polish the drawings. Oh, wait. But you see like you see the one on the bottom there.
Yeah.
But you see how much it changes too, right? Like how much you can push on those stages too. So if you see, like, see, that was the rough, and then that was the cleanup.
Yeah, push a little bit
Like,
more.
you can keep pushing it, yeah. And like there's another good example here.
Oh yeah, love it.
Yeah, you see like yeah, like this one. So I push the drawing more. Those are the kind of decisions that you keep doing, like in the process of sculpting the drawing, like I was telling at the beginning.
This must be such a fun job to make, right? Like
Those storyboard spots, they were like so amazing. Like the narration was always like extremely fun, especially on this one where they're counting by 2. If you watch and listen it again, it's so fun.
Yeah. I was thinking about it because you go like for super not real kind of drawings, but super realistic. I don't want to say the word, but it's kind of there. Like for example, human figures with lots of details and that kind of stuff. And this super loose kind of style to like storyboard. So there's any preference like in the way that you? Because I feel like some have more liberty that you can do with the drawings and with the animation, but there's any preferences or things you like more about one than another?
Like this kind of like style, as in storyboards, that's definitely my favorite place to be. But even when I do like stuff like Olympia, I still take the character like as a big shape. So like I would consider like the chest to be like a big square.
Okay.
What I do is still think in terms of shapes. What is fun with storyboards is that they are actually shapes.
Yeah.
They're pretty much squares. And that's like that's my preference. Like I think like I like simple and appealing.
Okay.
And if I can do the other detail like human character too, but even when I do, I take it more as shapes. But if I had to choose, definitely more like on the simple and appealing side of things. I guess on a comparison with motion graphics, it would be, I don't know, like moving well a spear around, or like
that's what
that kind of
I was
stuff.
about to say that. Yeah.
Other than like
my favorite projects, just moving a cube or little
exactly.
around.
Yeah. You know that like the project that Jorge did at VFS. That was like a sort of an idea.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I can't remember the name now. It's like you know the one I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's kind of like just moving stuff well around. I'm more
How hard
that's
was always good, huh?
oh yeah.
He was born like that.
Like that kind of stuff inspires me more than like say, oh, the character has like a little hair that needs to go here, kind of those kind
Okay.
of like I like don't get me wrong, like just that if I had to choose like
Yeah,
that.
speaking about two comparisons, you come from the commercial world, like commercial jobs, that kind of stuff. We saw personal projects as well, but storyboards are kind of series, which is a different
Uh-huh.
kind of world. So, what do you see the difference between the commercial kind of side of animation and series in terms of it changes your line of production, that kind of stuff? Or I just try.
Are you asking more in terms of the like the difference of the industries?
Yeah, like more kind of, for example, in a commercial, you have like a client to ask for things and revisions, or I don't know, the guidelines, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How it works in those series kind of world?
Like for my work in storyboards, I don't think I was that much of a part of the series production itself, but I've been there. Like the way I started my career was to work on TV series. Like back in Brazil, actually, we did TV series, and even here in Canada, my first job here was on a TV studio, TV series studio, and I think the first stages are very similar to a commercial work,
Okay.
but a lot bigger. So let's say they have to decide about the character design. There has to be more like views in motion graphics. I think like the art direction, it's more the centerpiece of the whole thing. So let's say you can do like a style frame and one view of the character and kind of like sort of convince a client to go for it.
Yeah.
As this stage in TV series, I think is like the very first stage. That's the kind of stage that people are having like in fairs, where they go and okay, like I have this idea of this, say like the creator or the showrunner is trying to convince Netflix to sign the series.
Okay.
So that style frame stage on TV series happens like way earlier before the production. Then when production starts, you do have to think about the character and the views and there's a big hill of art direction and backgrounds. And then when that's established, then the animators come in and then the process itself is a lot more let's say like established.
Okay.
Because like a lot of people thought about how it will look, and things can't move much, as in like one commercial. There's a lot more of this kind of like a figuring out as we go. A lot less nowadays, I guess. Like and a lot less with bigger clients, I think too. Like like the bigger the client, the more stages the more proof you have to give them that sort of like what you're doing. Like on projects like Supergirl or like Olympia was just me. Like there was no client, right? There was but like Supergirl, it was like there was no client itself. And storyboards, the stage I entered it was like they had a style frame or some style frames, a rough animatic, like a board sometimes, and the audio, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the work in storyboards, it felt very much like working with motion graphics, as in here's a style frame and you're the animator on this piece. If you need help, you can get some help. But the both industries they are indeed very different. But that's what I like on storyboards. I think they find a way to blend them well.
Okay. Like, we were talking like the style of each episode kind of changes sometimes because of the artist. When you got in the process, the style frames for those episodes you worked on were already done, and you entered already the video kind of. Okay.
Yeah, they were already done. In most of them they were done. On the one that I was showing, like the cowgirls counting by two. They had a design character design page for reference, and a rough animatic, and that one was a little bit more design involved as we were developing it. But like for all of the other ones, the design was there and the audio was there.
Yeah. And one last question about this one. I'm just
go ahead.
It's another whole world. And because they have the style, the guidelines for the characters, that kind of stuff, and we saw like sometimes you push it more poses, that kind of to tell better the story. Is that a point that it's, hey, that's too much? Can we tone it down a little bit? That kind of thing, or
I mean, that's the one note that's the note that I get the most when in like a commercial work. Like, can you kind of like be a little less cartoony? Like, that's too much. That's not. And I think like that has lots to do with like the client won't get it, sort of like a. It has to be a little more like a saddle. Not to say that I've done like cartoony stuff on the commercial world, but like the commercial world is usually more like less pushy on that matter, right? But with storyboards, no. With the storyboard, like Evan was the creator of the show, Evan Spirit Ellis, and he created the show, and he's a he loves pushing the animation, like so there was no on storyboards, there was no notes on that regard, like to be a little less cartoony or kind of like push less, or like, it was very much kind of like go for it, like be free and like and I'm sure that's how he was with all the other amazing animators working on the show. That it's such like a big platform for like I don't know, animators and designers, and like I hope I really hope they do more seasons so like more people can work on it, because it's very and not just the art, like the show itself is about education, and it's it's a good subject, good art, good like
I know, I love it.
Yeah.
So fun. Enrique, we have now more than an hour, I think. It was so fast. It's super impressive.
So quick, right?
I mean, dude, out of nowhere, it was 40 minutes already.
I know.
But it's just amazing look at. I mean, I'm smiling until now because it is amazing look at your work, man.
Thank you.
And yeah, I can have enough to see your work. So I'm just so amazed. I'm a big fan. You are.
It goes by fast. Yeah, thank you. You're always so kind. You're super kind. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're so kind, because thank you so much for all the time changes, the shifts that we did.
No worries.
To make the second part, but it worth it.
Oh yeah.
I can't stop smiling. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So
cool.
yeah, anytime you want to come back, let us know. We can make another one and have a new project to show. Yeah, it's your house here too. You were the first one, and you'll be the last one.
Okay.
No, this is not the last episode, guys. Come on, no, don't be. But yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you again. Like, it's